Railroad safety is Metra's #1 priority. We deliver hundreds of Operation Lifesaver events in schools all over the Chicago region every year. Our hope is that your generation will grow up with the tools to stay safe around railroads.
Now, anytime is train time. Now, you guys know how to cross the street, correct? Yeah. Now, when you cross the street, do you look for cars? Yeah. Both ways. Yeah. Cars run on the streets, trains run on the what? So whenever you come up to a train track, what do you look for? Train. Is that like rocket science? You have to be super smart to know that. No. Huh. Now, you guys can see real good, can you hear? And y'all smart, so you won't walk out there in front of a train and let it kill you, right? No. Right. Now, trains run on any track at any time in any direction. Got it? Trains can't swerve. Trains do not have steering wheel. They can't swerve to the left, to the right. They have to follow what? Has anybody here ever seen a train chasing somebody down the street to run them over? But you've heard about people getting hit by trains, right? So if you get hit by a train, where were you? Where's that train supposed to be? Where are you not supposed to be? See, now y'all getting it.
My name is Mark Kalina Jr., and I not only am a authorized volunteer for Operation Lifesaver, but as you can see, I'm also a train accident survivor. While walking along the train, I lost my footing, reached out with my right arm, my sleeve got snagged on something on the rail car, and my legs just fell down. I climbed up the ladder that was there, unhooked my sleeve, but right then we were going around a turn, I got jostled, I fell off the rail car and fell into the connection knuckle, kind of like holding it on the side. And I didn't have a real good grip. I lifted up my left foot to brace on the car in front of me, get a better hold of things. That's when my left foot went under the wheel, and it pulled me under the train. It tossed me around for a little bit. I ended up on my stomach in between the two tracks with the train going overhead at 30 or so miles an hour. I pushed off with my right hand so I'd be in the middle of the tracks, and I just laid there with my hands over my head. It felt like an hour for the train to pass by, but once it did, I rolled over. I couldn't really move. I was just laying there with my head on the one rail, trying to look up. I looked down and saw my left leg was already gone. I did not know my right leg was. I looked at my hand because I hurt as well, and I ended up losing a pinky. I wanted to save 5 minutes by using the railroad tracks as a shortcut, and I can tell you it's not worth it, because now, I save 5 minutes doing that, but now every morning I have to take 10 minutes to put my legs on.
What the C3RS program is going to allow us to do is identify situations before they become accidents.
And I want everybody to know that C3RS is not just another feel-good program.
We're going to see results that you haven't seen in the industry in quite some time.
People are going to be able to honestly, confidentially report near misses, things that we normally wouldn't see.
C3RS is important to our members because it allows an avenue for us to report an event that otherwise might have been unknown to anyone without any fear of repercussions or discipline. And ultimately, that will lead to a safer railroad.
By allowing this data to come to us, we can come up with solutions collectively with the unions to try to prevent accidents from happening.
This is a partnership, and there is nothing more powerful than a good partnership.
I think we're going to achieve things we never thought possible. Working together, we can accomplish a lot of things. Rail safety is #1 to all of us. PTC stands for Positive Train Control. It's a safety enhancement that was born out of the 2008 Rail Safety Act. When an engineer is supposed to slow a train down because of a speed restriction or people that are out there working, and he doesn't take the appropriate action, in most cases, PTC will then take the action to stop the train.
PTC is a federally mandated system that was instituted for all freight railroads who carry hazardous materials, and commuter railroads. And what PTC does, it's an overlay system over our signal system. So it's a safety system, in other words. The signal system still operates as it would. The engineer would see the signal, obey the signal. But if in the event that the engineer did not obey a signal or a work order, the PTC system would enforce that train and come to a complete stop unless that engineer performed the action that was necessary. Here we are outside the PTC lab, where everything that we test for PTC takes place. Let's go take a peek at what's going on inside. Today we're at the Consolidated Control Facility, otherwise known as CCF, which houses the lab for positive train control. I like to call it PTC in a box because literally every single component that's necessary for PTC operation you will find in this room. Our communications interface, our back office server, the TMC, which is called the train management computer, which is on board the locomotive, the radio that communicates back and forth on the locomotive is in there. A base station that communicates on the wayside is in that area. Our antenna system that we use on top of the trains, which is a radio system, and 2 backup cellular systems are in there. And also we have a wayside unit which interfaces directly with the signal system. And last, in each cab and each locomotive, there is a cab display unit, or CDU, which the engineer monitors as he runs his train in our route of operations. The lab is a huge milestone in PTC. The lab houses every single component that is involved with PTC and allows us to do all the preliminary testings in a controlled lab environment before we take that equipment and bring it out to the production environment where our trains operate in. This lab will always be here because once PTC is implemented and operating, there'll be further software changes and perhaps hardware changes for either what we do as a business operationally or our partners who interoperate with us. They may make changes according to their business operations. And the lab is here so we can test those changes because in the beginning we have a system that we implemented and started operating on. Now, if we make any changes, we need to test it thoroughly before we just take that change and put it into real-time operations, and it could cause problems. So the lab serves as our testing ground so we can make sure that those changes that we do want to make will work operationally in the field when they get out there. We are currently on track to meet all of our required milestones by the end of 2018. The first milestone is the installation of wayside and onboard equipment. The second milestone is the acquisition of radio spectrum. The third milestone is the training of all personnel, and the fourth milestone is to have one of our subdivisions in revenue service demonstration. All of this needs to be done by the end of 2018, and I'm happy to say that we are on track to meet that schedule, which once we meet that schedule, we will then get an extension to finish the rest of the system by the end of 2020.
The contest is open to all children in our service area in grades kindergarten through senior year in high school. And we're giving them an opportunity to develop their artistic talents and develop their writing talents through our essay contest, but to use that to focus it on a particular message, and that message being safety on our tracks.
And it does get them to think about how to be safe around trains and the distractions like wearing headphones and not staying behind the line and holding a parent's hand if you're near the train tracks.
So I think it really makes them aware of being safe around a train that's right in their backyard. And I also think it encourages that creativity, that writing, that artistic expression.
These posters are everywhere around the schools. Every school I've seen, they've had these Metra poster contest posters. So I think it's a really great way to spread safety, spread the news.
So we're getting the dialogue out of the classroom into the family and into the community with the posters that they create.